Hi guys, Dr. Lester here today, and today I want to talk to you about pain meds. So, pain meds are an interesting topic because, and something that is obviously highly controversial, especially among the holistic community and whatnot. But they're interesting because I'm going to come at you with a slightly dual perspective on this. So, first of all, I live with chronic pain. I'm sure if you've seen some of my other videos, you know this already, but I have had 8 different surgeries in my lifetime, and 2 of them were spinal fusions, and I have a lot of dull, achy pain. Like afterwards, I swapped the sharp shooting pain that I had initially for lifelong dull, achy pain. So, kind of a double-edged sword there. But as a result, I get pain. I understand that it can be excruciating. It can be really, really bad. And I am not the person to slap your hand for you taking medication to deal with pain. I am just not. I get it. Sometimes I take Advil or Tylenol or whatever because I just can't. I just can't get through the rest of the day, and I have patients I gotta deal with who are in pain, or I gotta, just have a conversation with people or whatever. I have to go adult, and I can't deal with the pain. And yes, adjusting, it definitely helps, and it keeps that pain at bay, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. And I am not going to slap your wrist for that, okay? With that being said, recognize the consequences of pain meds. Now, aside from the obvious ones that we all know about, where it hurts our liver and kidneys, because it really, really does. It can have a huge effect on that, to where they're just not able to detox appropriately, and it can change pH in your system and whatnot. But what I am, aside from those things, because those are much more common, what I'm specifically going to talk to you about is the neurological switching that pain meds can cause, and why it's important to recognize some of that. So, neurological switching, I have a whole video on neurological switching because it's a very complicated topic, but essentially your brain has a two-way pathway to each muscle in your body so it can receive communication, right? So like a to and from highway. So if I am trying to quiet pain symptoms, I can do it in one of 2 ways, but it's essentially the same way, but in one of 2 places rather. So on this pathway, I can either silence or quiet the symptoms or the connection that is being registered in my brain, or the one that's being registered in my muscle, right? So that's how pain meds generally work, is they kind of create this big heavy blanket on one of those specific areas to quiet the pain signal so it's not quite so intense. The problem with this is that it makes it more difficult for your body to realize where it is in space. Now, this is called proprioception. I also have a whole other video talking about proprioception because it's also kind of a confusing topic. But basically, it's telling you where your body is in space. And so if I took pain meds because this hand is hurting me, then maybe, this is kind of an extreme example of this, but let's say I was hurting, this one finger was hurting, and so I took pain meds. So now my brain can't super register that this pain is hurting, but I kind of have this dull ache in my whole hand. And so it's registering it as pain in my whole hand rather than pain in this finger. And it's because this blanket that the pain meds put on it, it just kind of diffused the system, the signal. So now it's just a vague everything hurts in my hand kind of signal, rather than a sharp my finger only hurts. So this becomes an issue, let's say if now I decide that because it doesn't hurt as much, I'm going to, be lifting some heavy things, and I drop something on my finger. It's not going to register the extent of the damage that is done because I just dropped something on this finger that was already hurting, so it should have really just blown up out of proportion now because, it's 2 whammies, right? But it's not going to register because now it's kind of diffuse, and so it doesn't, and we've dulled that signal. So any damage that's there is not going to be experienced until much later, and it could essentially become worse because of it. And I'm sure you've also experienced the other situation where you feel better, so you go do all of the things, so your back doesn't hurt anymore, so now I'm going to do some heavy lifting and do all of the things that I need to do, and now the next morning my back is way worse than it was before, or I really ended up hurting myself. And it's because your brain doesn't register pain the way it needs to register. Like, pain is not your enemy. It is a warning sign of something that is out of control. There are other ways to help damper pain, and that is something that we would definitely need to work on. Reducing systemic inflammation as a whole causes your system to be quieter, so your pain doesn't register quite so loudly, and it really does help with pain management. Is the number one way to help with pain management. But with that being said, I really do understand why you need to take pain meds sometimes. So neurological switching is pretty important because your body just is not registering things the same way, and you can end up doing more damage as a result of not feeling that pain than had you just been feeling it and actually kind of protecting that area, which was kind of the point of why the pain was there, right? So again, I'm not going to poo-poo you for pain meds. I'm really not. We're going to clean up some of the mess that it leaves over, but definitely be aware of these consequences, and that there are other better ways that we can definitely talk about on how to manage pain, especially dealing with reducing the systemic inflammation. And another one of my doctor friends, she's amazing. She has this quote. Her name's Dr. Carol, by the way. Anyway, she has this saying that she says all of the time: motion is lotion. And it really is true to a large extent, because moving, it really does pump things in and out. So it pumps positive blood flow in, oxygen, all of these things, and then it removes out all the toxins. So that definitely helps reduce systemic inflammation. But there's a whole range of options, but the reducing systemic inflammation is really the goal. And we can do that with diet, we can do that with movement, we can do that with chiropractic, that kind of thing. But with that being said, I hope that explains a little bit about pain meds. Again, I really do get it. I just want to be able to find a happy zone where we can take little steps to make big improvements, if that makes sense. And pain meds, they come at a cost, unfortunately. Anyway, so I hope that explains some things, and I will talk to you guys later. Definitely go check out some of the proprioception videos and whatnot, and don't hesitate to ask questions about pain, okay? I'm not going to beat you up. All right, thanks.